So I'm a fair man. I like to be fair all the time, of course. And you guys will remember I was one of the people that was complaining about my old office up there at Badboy Entertainment. Uh, a lot of memories up in here, you feel me? Shout out to June Balloon, shout out to Sham the Butcher, shout out to Jesus Christ, a number of different people. Keisha Combs, Puff's sister. She used to work right at the front desk right here, whatever. 17 years I spent with this company. So I didn't want to be a fraud or whatever because I came up here, as you guys know, several times. I even talked to the next door here, the restaurant here that's trying to conduct business. And as you guys know, there was a homeless encampment in front of here for a while. You know what I mean? And I tagged Puff or whatever in this. And it is now cleaned up, and I'm happy about that. So as you can see, the whole area, and I'm gonna go in close here so you guys can really see, this whole area was like littered with trash, everything. Like it was a whole encampment here. So if you guys ain't never seen it, just go back to the whole video and you'll see it. But it was crazy. It was just disgusting. And right next door there was a restaurant here. As you can see, they're playing music right now. Let me step back over here. But this is at Badboy, my old office. I was in this office. I worked in this office. Had some good times in this office. Shout out to Rich Dollars, Love and Hip Hop. I got in an argument with him in this office about Cassie. I've always lived in Connecticut, so with Cassie's from New London, Connecticut. You know what I mean? Shout out to her and her brother. And I guess she felt a little bit more special. You know what I'm saying? Because I've lived so long in Connecticut. But like I said, I just want to say one more time, the homeless encampment that was here is now cleaned up. And I can't tell you how happy I am. And that's one more time, as you guys can see. And if you guys remember or seen that earlier video, it was terrible up here. So I'm glad Skinny came up here. Shout out to Puff. I'm glad he came up here and handled the situation, or at least assuming he handled the situation or whatever the case may be. This is my old office. We were in this office. I was in this office for a year and a half. Everybody else, they were a little bit in here a little bit longer. We were in this office before we went over to Interscope, and Interscope became our distributor. So we was in this building for like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years. You know what I mean? Keisha Combs, who was Puff's sister. A lot of people don't know Keisha, but shout out to Keisha. She's always nice to me. Dark-skinned, beautiful sister. She used to be at the front desk, you know what I mean? And nobody knew who she was. I'm gonna give y'all another little tidbit that's been wiped from the internet, right? Miss Jones used to be on Hot 97. Miss Jones, she got into an argument with some of the security in here. And at the time, she was working for Hot 97, right? So she went back to Hot 97, told Hot 97, did this whole declaration online, and said, I've been done wrong. The Badboy Entertainment staff is terrible or whatever. And this went on for like maybe a week or so, maybe a little bit less than that. This is like the peak of the World Star days, you get me? And so I was like, yo, really? Okay. And I was here that day. I just didn't see her come in. So she got no further than right here at these two front doors. When you walk in these two front doors right here, what happens is it splits in the middle, and then it comes to a desk that's on the right-hand side. Once you get right there in that desk area right there was for security. I even got checked there a couple of times. And any of my comrades used to work with me, Rome, Dre, of course, Uptown Cerrone, shout out to him. Know what I mean? I hit you earlier too, Big Head, Badboy alumni. We all was in this office at one time or another. So like I said, the first time I even met Rich Dollars was in this office. I had never met Rich before. And I like to say he's a protege of Sean Prez, as well as, Jesus Christ, who's the other one I want to mention out? Charlemagne the God, you know? A lot of people who came through my boss or whatever. Sean Prez, internationally known, DJ Awards right here in Midtown Miami. So guys, you can see right here, this whole area is clean now. And at one time, if y'all remember, it was crazy up in here. So I don't know if it was in combined efforts with the restaurant, combined efforts of what I did, come up here and film or whatever, but whatever the case may be, I'm glad this is not looking like this. Now I'm gonna stick to my convictions here, and I'm gonna say this, Puff, and now that's being cleaned up. You need to get the sign off the building unless you're coming back to New York. That whole little walk through New York or whatever, that was great. It was raining last week. I came into town down from Connecticut. And if you guys know, I was live down here and I was trying to, you know what I'm saying, trying to circumnavigate it through the bushes or whatever to find out what Puff was. Coincidentally, it didn't happen because the only day I could get out that it wasn't raining was that Thursday, that following Thursday. And by that time, he was probably ready to leave and everything else, right? But this is the thing. If you're not going to repurpose this building and open it back up for Love Records, because you got a foundation here, and I don't know what the situation is here. Maybe the building has changed occupancy as far as ownership and everything like that, or whatever the case may be, or maybe even the building's been acquisitioned by a different company. That tends to happen a lot here in New York City. You get people that buy buildings, they acquisition the building, they say now we want this much per square footage now versus what it was. This is what happened to Daddy's House Recording Studio. Daddy's House Recording Studio had been there before Puff even, I think, got over to BMG. You know what I mean? And it's real monumental for me because I recorded in there. I recorded 3 of my projects in there. Who else? Cassie. I had Haitian Fresh and Wyclef walk into my session before, which was amazing. Jacquay, shout out to him. Loving hip hop again. I'm trying to think who else, man. Jesus Christ, so many people. The producers I worked with everybody from Shakira, Justin Bieber, whatever. I share the video all the time. But y'all that don't know me as an artist, y'all know me as, you know, a YouTuber now. And that's cool. You know, the pandemic has some benefits. But I'm glad to see that this area is cleaned up. Like I said, I worked in this office for a year and a half alongside the staff of Badboy Entertainment. Shout out to everybody that was in this building. No love lost. I love all of you. You know what I'm saying? Even though everybody might individually, you know, but I love every last one of you. I really do. It would be a mistake not to embrace people that you've known for almost 20 years for the rest of your life, because these people are monumental in your life. Now, unless they mean you damage, unless they mean you no good, then that's another thing. But it's a mistake to lose people like these. These will be the people that will be the most willing and first up to grab your aid or whatever. Well, that's how the way it's supposed to be. So, you know, a lot of memories in this building or whatever. Like I said, I gave the story about Miss Jones. Miss Jones that came up in here, formerly at Hot 97. I think she's down in Miami now. Miami radio and Southern radio is popping. So is West Coast radio right now. But Miss Jones came up in the building. And that day, that particular day, she was working and still working at High 97, so she was the it girl at the time, you understand? So Miss Jones came in here, and I don't know if Keisha was at the door that day. That's Puff's sister, Keisha Combs. I don't know if she was downstairs and that's where the friction started, or whether it was like, and I ain't gonna front, I was kind of scared of Keisha at first. She got this look, like one of your cousins look at you or something, like, you know what I mean? Which I don't think she mean no harm. Beautiful girl though. But anyway, moving on. Miss Jones came up in here, and I don't know what her purpose was from Hot 97 to come up in here. We had a lot of people come up in here, RIP to K Slay and DJ Vlad. A lot of these guys, they came through Badboy Entertainment to get those white backs. Those were the 12-inch singles, so they could, you know, take to the clubs or whatever. They would get it exclusively when it mattered. Back when it mattered. You know what I mean? It kind of still do matter, but not as much as it used to. It's a new single and it's popping. So, long story short, Miss Jones came up in here. She had some friction. She started arguing. She went back to Hot 97 and she made a declaration on the radio. And at the time, what she said was, I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. I've been disrespected. You know, the regular diatribe, you know, the victim point. And I don't think it was that serious. I'm gonna put y'all on to another story too, so stay with me. So, she goes back to the radio, whatever, does this big declaration, says, oh, the people at Badboy Entertainment did me wrong, blah, 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 blah. And I was here that day. If we had not just left out in the van, I missed it maybe by a couple of minutes. And that's the honest to God truth. It was either one of the two. I was here or I missed it by a couple of minutes. But I believe I was here in the building. And that's what I mean by here. And so that day, it was crazy because that friction lasted probably like 4 days on Hot 97. Hot 97 was hating on Badboy Entertainment or whatever. And it just subsided. You know, it just went away. Now I'm going to show y'all another story, right? When Puff first came out with Ciroc, and the only thing we had was Blue Dot, right? Y'all stay with me. Blue Dot. You see about right there, I ain't got to walk that far. You see right there where that manhole is? Here, I'm going to zoom in on it. You see that manhole right there? The owner of Grey Goose, and this is no lie, the owner of Grey Goose, he came up here and he took a toilet and he put literally bottles of Blue Dot in the toilet. Now, this is the funny thing. It was meant to be a disrespect, but at the same time, it was meant to be the best promo I've ever seen in my freaking life. Because the story went everywhere. It was in the New York Post. Everywhere you looked, the story was. TMZ, I believe, covered it at the time, whatever. It was hilarious. But that happened right here in this building. Now, that day I wasn't here. I wish I would have been here. But he literally had a van pull up. I'm going to show you guys again if you don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so walk with me. Right here, where this manhole is. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm almost up on it, so stay with me, guys. Make sure you share this, like this, all that, subscribe if you're new here. All right, so you see right here where this manhole is. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. Where this manhole is right here, the owner of freaking Grey Goose came up here. He put inside a toilet, I mean an actual toilet, bottles of Blue Dot Ciroc and left it right here. Like the van pulled up, dropped it off, and left. This is the actual story now. I'm gonna take you guys back over here. Come with me. The funny thing about it was, this is an ongoing war, but it was the best promotion you will ever see in your freaking life. And the reason it was the best promotion was because it worked for both of them. It not only worked for the owner of Grey Goose, but it also worked for Ciroc, because the promo itself was free. You understand what I'm saying? It was free. I didn't have to do nothing. I didn't have to sell nothing to nobody. It was free. I didn't buy the advertising space. You know what I mean? Advertising blocks. That could be a headache too, because then they got to schedule you when they could put you into the slot for the actual commercial or whatever you do or whatever. And I'll do a live on that one day or whatever. And if you guys haven't hit it up, it's $STRINGERBELL80. That's Stringerbell80 on Cash App. Also, there's a Jesus Christ. Also, there's a choice for GoFundMe. There's also another one for PayPal, and then there's another one for Amazon wishlist. So all those things right there, you can take time and indulge in, support the channel. I'm moving around the city. I want to do a whole bunch of lives for y'all. One event I was supposed to go to, I missed that because nobody donated earlier. But anyway, long story short, actually, I take that back. Ruby Johnson, shout out to you because you did donate to me. And shout out to Vertina. She donated, I think, $50. So shout out to both of them. Y'all definitely made the night. Now back to the story. In this building right here, that story lasted probably, I'm going to say, no less than maybe 4 or 5 days, right? The promotion on that story was so crazy because it went through all the outlets. It went through TMZ, it went through the New York Post, it went through every outlet you could think of. And it actually added to the increase of Ciroc's value. That's when we came in with the Ciroc boys. We went all across the nation and did the promo for that. Miami, we've done it a million freaking times. Shout out to Compound, all of them. What's the other one? The Clevelander on Ocean Drive. Shout out to Washington in 86. There's some nice people over there. Like, I know Miami real well. We went there for years. Arizona, Tempe, and Mesa. I'm trying to think where else. California, Atlanta. Shout out to, I was saying, a Compound. Well, Compound is actually in Atlanta. That's where we went for the welcome home, second welcome home with T.I. at the time, which I was talking about in my earlier live. This is what T.I. got out of prison for all those damn guns and shit. Shout out to T.I. though. We'll talk about that some more later. Unfortunately enough, I do remember that. That's what we were there for. And they had a previous one before that, which Cassie was there, Puff was there. And this was at King of Diamonds in Miami. That's like one of the major strip clubs in Miami. You looking too hard, Poppy. Keep moving. Ain't nobody bothering you. Could try to act tough. So anyway, y'all excuse me. We got these guys that walk around. That's what they do. They look for fucking trouble all day. I'm on the camera, and this guy's walking by just staring all hard and shit. I'm like, what the hell is that about? You don't do that everywhere. So stop. You know what I mean? Going about your business. War. People have a hard time doing that nowadays. Like, he was important. He needed to be on camera. I'm not getting you on camera. I'm getting my whole building on camera. Anyway, guys, those stories are monumental in this building, you know, and I can't tell you guys how much I enjoyed the times I had in this building, how many times I've seen the building, I don't know, like, I've got pictures, and I'm gonna put some more pictures up of me in front of this building. And if you see the facade that's right here now compared to when it was in its peak, like even right there where that windows broke, excuse me, there used to be a poster thing right there. So did right there in the middle. They ripped that off. That poster right there in the middle, you're gonna see a picture with me in it, and Puff's face was right there. So yeah, man, this building brings back a lot of memories. And like I said, you know, I'm glad Puff did something about it when he was in town. That's what I'm assuming. And even if he didn't, it was in cooperation with the restaurant next door. It's still not even good for their business. But there was a whole homeless encampment here for like weeks. You know what I mean? And it was crazy. And like, the tendency you get with a lot of people nowadays, they want to walk up to you, but they want to do it head on and ask you for change and things like that or whatever. You know, some of these people, they're legitimate in their wants and needs or whatever the case may be, but for the most part, they harass you, bother you, or whatever. That's a frequent thing nowadays. I talk about there's a lot of black people and Spanish people going around bothering other black people and Spanish people for obviously no reason other than, I'm on some hood shit everywhere I'm at, except for when it's around white people. That's when I buck up. You fucking slave. So we'll talk about the modern day slaves and all that shit another time, but I don't want to turn this into a parody of that, but that's exactly what they are. And like I said earlier, I'll say again, if you ain't never made $100,000 in your life, you don't belong in no fucking type of conversation with me about money. So I will talk to you guys later. Puff, good job of cleaning this up, and let me turn this back around. I appreciate all y'all tuning in or whatever the case may be and supporting the channel or whatever. Ruby Johnson, thank you. Tina, thank you. Miss Foster out in Chicago, thank you. And who else? TMH. Always TMH Global, always come right on time or whatever. There's some heavy donators or whatever, and so is Bettina. I appreciate you. It was very generous, so thank you. And guys, hit up the Cash App, man. If you're a new time subscriber, whatever, I go everywhere, But right here, this is my alma mater, Badboy Entertainment. I got a lot of memories with this company. I worked there for 17 years, so it's like, and the unemployment end of it didn't happen until just recently, so it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I still keep in touch with everybody. Shout out to Sean Prez, shout out to Chrome and a couple of others, Uptown Simone, of course, you know what I mean, by Dougie. But other than that, man, it's been a great fucking ride. So now we're more interested in getting this new music out with the singing and everything like that. So I appreciate you guys that actually subscribe to the channel. We had 11,000 this week, you know what I mean? So a hand clap for that. I put up exactly what my numbers were. Right now we're at 200, I forgot what it is. It's high. It's in the hundreds of thousands. Let's put it that way. So if you haven't seen that, go down below and check that out. Donate to the link, $STRINGERBELL80. And I just want to say one thing before I get up off of here, because this is very important. There was a gentleman that is following me. And this gentleman, right, and it's very hard because I got 11,000 people to follow me. So it's very hard to tell who's who here on YouTube. But there's a certain gentleman that's on here, and he wrote a comment one time, and I believe it was with my Alpo story. I was one of the first, if not the first, to go live with that story. And at that time, I believe I had a culmination of something like 542 people on the live collectively. And I also had, I believe it was something like 200,000 likes or something on that ultimately. So I was very impressed with that. How you doing? So this girl should have smelled wonderful. I was like, Jesus Christ, how you doing? Equally enough, the problem was hold on, I got sidetracked for a second. She smelled really good. The whole purpose of what I'm saying here now, I'm kind of going on and 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 on. It ended at this point right here. I'm sorry, I just got tongue-tied and I forgot what I was going to say. But I'm trying to take a second to see if I can remember where I was at. Anyway, it'll come back to me. It happens, whatever the case may be. Maybe God didn't want me to say it. But guys, make sure you donate to the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Also, there's a PayPal link in the description box to GoFundMe. Also, there's an Amazon wish list. So guys, make sure y'all hit that up or whatever. And I do remember what I was saying. I was congratulating and thanking everybody that actually donated this week to me. I appreciate it. And especially those two that donated substantially. You know what I mean? Hundreds always better than tens and ones and fives. So I appreciate that. And I encourage you guys to do the same, man. There's 11,000 people here, whatever. I'm going to do this thing where I think I'm going to ask 1,000 of my followers to all donate $10 and see where we can go or whatever. I'm very adamant. That's why I started this LLC. Many of y'all people that really, really follow me for these shipping container homes. I'm going to get them up and get them erected. And that's going to be my business. One of them anyway. But I need you guys' support for that to get that started. It's very cheap investment. Materials are minimum. So to purchase. So, we're really talking the high end as far as resources and spending money on plumbing and actually getting contractors to bring them on site. That gets a little expensive too, but not too expensive. So I'm going to talk to you more about that. I have about 3 or 4 of them down below. Just hit videos and go down. You can, check them out for yourself or whatever. A little bit more in depth, business plan and everything like that or whatever. But the next thing I'm doing, this is what I was talking about, music that I'm here. I will be dropping a new single. It's R&B, trap R&B if you want to say, or whatever. You guys have heard me sing. I was a rapper originally. I've got about 3 or 4 videos of me singing. Everybody seems to agree I sound pretty good, so I'm going to take their word for it. The responses and the live videos that I've had singing, you see everybody in the crowd seemingly enjoying it and go, woo, and glad that I'm back. So that's the biggest thing. I'm glad that you're back. You know what I mean? So I did that for about 3 or 4 weeks to get my choppers because nobody's performed since the pandemic. Nobody. And that's why all of us jumped to YouTube. Nobody's performed. So a lot of people lost money. Excuse me, guys. A lot of people lost money. So, yeah, man. I'll be dropping a new single, and also I will be dropping my clothing line, Gustavo, which I had to get the rights for the name and all that stuff, because sometimes what happens is people already have the right to the name or a variation of the name, or either you have to invent a variation of the name to actually patent it. And so I had to go through that because I didn't want to get to that later. You know what I mean? It's a very big mistake. That's something Jeff Tweedy talked about. Shout out to him. If you guys don't know Jeff Tweedy is one of the starters of Sean John. If I wouldn't say one of the main developers of Sean John in the beginning. I got him and Jeff Tweedy, DIDDY'S from Revolt. I'm trying to think who else. Mike Bivens, you know, all these guys when we were doing Power Moves Makers down there at the site shooting. We had a live audience, you know what I mean, as we were filming. One of the very few podcasts that actually had still an audience. And so when we were doing Power Moves Makers with Sean Prez, I say we because I was inclusive in that, you know. Make sure you're here, professional. We'll see you here early. And that's why I soaked a lot in, you know. It was meeting Tuma Basa down there that actually inspired me to go on live. I remember that. So, you know, I'll just tell you guys this, and I'm going to get up off it because I got to get it moving and I don't want to dead my battery. Make sure, if anything, you purchase shirts, T-shirts, hats, or whatever. I'm going by what the advice Jeff Tweedy said to us. You only need a certain amount of product. You'll see what that product is. I sent it over to Miss Foster out in Chicago, one of my subscribers, friend too. She seemed to agree. She liked it. She says, I want this on a hoodie though. So I said, all right, we're going to put it on a hoodie as well. So Gustavo, make sure y'all purchase that. And we'll have some other products or whatever with the branding on it or whatever. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure I got it right. Being in the music industry for 17 years, you already know it's so much red tape, man. You know, the patenting. And the reason I did that, like I said, once again, for all you guys that are just starting out or something like that, like the reason I did that, because later on, if it gets popular, then I'm going to have to reverse and come back to that. And then still selling it. By that time, somebody might have stole the name or making money off the name. That's how Tisha Campbell from Martin Lawrence's show. She had a video out on TikTok where she went into a store and they had shirts with her image on it. You know, it was crazy. So, yeah, man, you know, you have to protect yourself in the beginning. And that's what I would tell any guys, entrepreneurs coming along or whatever the case may be. Just make sure you protect yourself in the beginning. And patenting is one of the main things. People will see your product. And if they see your product selling, because the engine I'm using is an app. So people actually get to see somewhat or another how many, and that's one of the downsides, and I think that the app should remove, you're able to see how many orders were placed. You know what I mean? So it gives a person like a guesstimate of how much you're making based on the per price of that shirt, T-shirt, whatever the case may be. My prices will be reasonable, it'll be like $35 to $40 price margin. So you guys check those out, get something for the kids. I think I'm gonna do kids clothes too. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'll be quite honest with you, but I'm gonna try to do kids clothes too because it's an option to create that. But right now I'm just focusing on men first, or unisex with the hoodies and T-shirts and sweatshirts. And then with the ladies, I think I might do a couple props or something like that. Something you can wear in the wintertime or something like that. I've got an option for a shawl, but I don't know what I would do with that. That would kind of almost look like a poncho or something like that, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll get one and test it, you know what I mean? But anyway, guys, make sure you donate to the Cash App, STRINGERBELL80. One more time, the reason I came up here, this is my old office at Badboy Entertainment, Badboy Worldwide. Saluted, respected, and love it. My alma mater. Shout out to everybody that I had a good time and good times with up in here. I will talk to you guys later. I'm out.